what keeps you passionate? I mean, this is hard work. So what really keeps you passionate about Q&A?
I am very passionate about the QA because every stage of my career shown me how critical the quality is. So whether it is a financial regulation at Citibank or validating the complex tax calculations based on the different market, so these all keeps me passionate to my QA role. QA is not just a simple finding a issues in the product. It's like about understanding the whole ecosystem, anticipating the risks associated with the system, emulating real user experience, and this field continuously evolves me to learn the new technologies.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to Tech Talks with TFN. This is Akansha Dimri, the founder and editor in chief of Tech Funding News. As we promised that every week we bring someone who's really interesting, and this time we have Imtiaz Shaik, who is a dedicated QA specialist and also has 14 years of experience in software quality assurance and has specialized in manual and automated process and a lot more. So, Imtiaz, welcome to Tech Talks with TFN. How are you doing today?
I'm doing very well. How about you?
I'm great. I'm really excited about your career, which is like 14 plus years, and it is into software quality assurance. So, could you walk us through your journey and also how did you begin and what guided you into Q&A?
First of all, thank you for having me. I'm really excited to talk about it. So it has been a long journey. So while the first project, what I was involved in the financial selling and investment project on an electronic trading platform, I was the part of the coding team, and our product went into the hands of the user and to the customer. And the feedback what we got from the customer was we had several issues in our coding that we have overlooked while we are seeing from the quality perspective. That experience basically opened my eyes how quality is so critical and important to see from the user perspective. With my strong attention to the detail and analytical skills, I realize the QA will be my perfect fit for my career. So from there, my journey started into the quality assurance field.
And this was which year?
It's a long time back, around 2007, something around that one. And this basically this field constantly pushes me to explore new tools, automation framework, and the new testing technologies, testing strategies as well. So as over the time, these technical skills build to develop my leadership role. So in this role, I have built like a lot of leadership roles where I coach the team, implement different test strategies, and ensure robust quality across multiple platforms.
Got it. That's really interesting. And according to your previous roles and current roles, like you have worked at Citibank and Cigna and ATB, what are the few turning points that shaped your approach to testing and quality leadership?
Across my career, I have several key experience that fundamentally shape my how I approach this software testing. My first major turning point came at Cigna, where I learned the importance of the financial regulation requirements, the compliance rules. As you know, the banking industry follow a zero tolerance policy for the issues. So any missed issue into the production can create financial risks and compliance compatibility. So that experience taught me how I have to think beyond the traditional testing into the end-to-end risks. From there, I move on to my second experience that has happened into my diadem, where I assess the risks associated to the people and the product in the manufacturing process. So by using the very industry standards such as product failure mode analysis, development, failure mode, effective analysis. So these are the various industry standards that we need to comply to assess the risks for the people in the design and the manufacturing process. So I happen to learn how the risk-based testing has to be done in this industry. And the third turning point came at the Cigna. So where I learned how to protect the patient health information, because in the healthcare industry we follow various rules such as HIPAA to comply with the healthcare regulations. So this opportunity helped me to understand the focus on the privacy testing. And my recent turning point came at the ADP Canada, where I have learned to validate complex multi-jurisdictions tax calculation, timer labor management flow. So all this experience helped me to shape into the leadership quality.
You really have a very vast experience, and I was just checking your LinkedIn, and there's so much over there as well. So, what keeps you passionate? I mean, this is hard work. So, what really keeps you passionate about Q&A after so many years of growing across manual and automated testing?
I am very passionate about the QA because every stage of my career shown me how critical the quality is. So whether it is a financial regulation at Citibank, or risk-based engineering at the Diadem, or protecting people privacy in the healthcare at the Cigna, or validating the complex tax calculations based on the different market. So these all keeps me passionate to my QA role. So as QA is not just a simple finding issues in the product. It's like about understanding the whole ecosystem, anticipating the risks associated with the system, emulating real user experience. And this feels continuously evolves me to learn the new technologies. So when it comes to the manual testing, it keeps me connected because it's allow me to analyze the actual workflow for validating the complex business rule, interpreting the ambiguity requirement that comes from the business. So as well as emulating the actual user behavior. So where all this automation alone cannot be detected. But on the parallel side, I also challenge automation to think. Say, I think how can optimize the framework, integrating the new test cases seamlessly into the continuous development process, leveraging all these test cases into the regression.
That's true. I think everything in technology is so dynamic, and AI with integrations coming up, I think there is a new opportunity for everyone to explore. And at the same time, you have worked for major products at ADP, that is Team Pay at the Wake work. Could you share a project where your testing strategy made a really meaningful impact?
While I was involved in the development project, because this project is an enterprise solution that makes Canadian to cater to the Canadian and the US market. So earlier, the Team Pay at Works only catered to the purely to the Canadian market. So since I have been working in the ADP Canada for a long time, I was fortunate to involve in the development product which catered to the US and Canadian market, because these products not only apply the all tax jurisdiction to the Canada, which also applies to the US clients, because our product is selling to the both countries. So it's based on from the US, where it is hosted at the US side. So all the clients that we monitor is from the US platform. I implemented because it's like a multi-cross border platform. So I implement a hybrid test strategy where using the manual testing for the exploratory thinking, and for the automation regression suite to achieve full functional and integration coverage. So basically, I apply both hybrid in order to fully coverage the functionality that applies to the US clients as well as applies to the Canadian clients, because the major systems what we do is deals with the employee informations. So that's the reason I implemented this hybrid test strategy. So in this strategy, I use two different, the most common all the industry use. I separated between the manual and the automations. So in the manual testing, the reason I separated into manual and automation is in the manual testing, it's allowing me the areas where human judgments required. We have to think exploratory, how the usability of the user, and complex business logic interpretation that automation cannot able to detect alone. Whereas to the parallel, I use the automation to integrate the new test cases while we are developing based on the sprint cycle. How can we integrate all the new test cases by using the continuous integration and continuous development pipeline? So leveraging our test cases to ensure every build is clean. So the implementing by these two testing test strategy, I prevent the payroll discrepancy, reduce client escalation, and the release on the time.
I mean, the habit strategy, having the right idea of how to have the right mix of manual and automating testing for any product also requires a bend of mind, and you've already done that. And you work with multiple SDLC models as well, waterfall, RAD, and Agile. How do you adapt your QA approach depending on the developmental methodology?
I will adapt the QA approach based on the SDLC model structure and the speed of the development and the level of the changes. So, so in the waterfall model, I adapts because this is the phase-driven and document focus model, where the first it is the requirements will be gathered and do the designing, development, and testing, and finally the release. So in this model, it's give priority to the documentations, and testing occur at the end of the phase after the full deployment. The second model I would approach like for the rapid application development. In this, I will approach in this model, it's like a speed of the development, how fast you do the developments. So I will adapt based on the speed of the development. I change my approach based on the speed of the development. In this model, we focus on more on prototyping, validations, rapid feedback from the customer, the exploratory testings, and close collaboration with the developers. In this model, we will have the less documentation priority. So this is the another model is typically the industry follow as a model. And the third model one we talk about is the rational unified process. In this, I will adopt the risk-driven and the automation validation, and where we have the architecture, basically not automation, it's an architectural validation. And this is an iterative and risk-driven approach. Finally, we have the more famous agile model, where I adopt continuously testing along with the sprint cycle, QA involved in the all agile ceremonies, focus on the automation, focus on the continuous integration and continuous development pipeline. So all these models has their own advantage based on the methodology I adopt on it.
That sounds super technical.
Thank
But yeah, but coming back to the automation scripts using Gherkin Eclipse configurations, what are the challenges on that side which came during automation, and how did you solve them?
So while automation is very tricky, it's always keep challenge for me. So while building automation with Gherkin's Eclipse ID, Eclipse integrated development environment, JSON configuration in the Java environment, because in our platform we use the Java environment. All our application is built with the Java, Oracle. That's as well as we also use the IBM Paytech mainframe for the processing of the engine. So our application is the web-based driven application where we heavily rely on the automation as our releases is every week. So that's the reason automation should be more robust to run every day. While building this automation, I encountered several challenges. So what I do is, like, the challenge that we have is like in ambiguity in the Gherkin steps, the complex debugging process in the Eclipse, maintaining multiple JSON configuration files, and handling asynchronized UI in the playwrights. These are the various several challenges I faced during the automation. To improve these challenges, to overcome these challenges, I introduce uniform Gherkin steps and improve debugging process by including the structural breakpoint in the Eclipse and standardizing the JSON controls, as well as finally introducing explicit weight to handle the asynchronized UI. So these are the various steps I have taken to overcome all the challenges to build the automation script.
Wow, that's very interesting. And in agile environments, how do you make Q&A an active part of sprint planning, demos, and retrospectives rather than just a final step?
Agile is a very fast-paced environment. The QA should be involved in all steps. What I mean, QA should be involved in participate in the all processes is called the Agile ceremony, what we call as the Agile ceremony. Agile ceremony is the is the steps what we followed in the sprint. The first step in the Agile ceremony is this Agile sprint planning, where we decide the capacity of the story selection, prioritize, analyze, and clarify based on the estimation of the each individuals, and also define the acceptance criteria. The second steps is the daily stand-up. In the daily stand-up, we discuss the progress of our testing, and is there any blockage to the further testing, any environment issue. So this is the second step that we follow in the Agile ceremony. And the third step is we'll do the sprint demo. So what we to show the to bring all the people like product owner, developer, and business stakeholder to show the changes what we develop and show the functionality, and then ask question, is there any risk involved with the these changes. Based on that, we will either adjust our sprint cycle. So based on the demo, we'll do any adjustment to the sprint cycle. Finally, we do the sprint retrospective. So in this step, we talk about what we went throughout the sprint cycle, what we went good, what it went wrong. Is there any improvement we can further do into the following sprints? Basically, it is this retrospective to identify any gaps what we have planned into the sprints. So these are the various things that we QA should involve at the every step of the process development rather than the final stage of testing.
Love that. Adaptability is clearly your strength, and making QA collaborative is rather than reactive is huge. So let's dive into another area where precision matters. So you have tested systems under strict compliance requirement at Cigna. So how does QA testing when accuracy and regulation becomes non-negotiable?
So at Cigna, regulation is non-negotiable because the personal health information of the members touches the every system. So QA shift from traditional functional testing to meet the healthcare requirements such as HIPAA, JDPR, XOS. These are the various compliance that need to meet while protecting the patient's personal health information. So in this situation, QA should focus on enforcing the strict access control base. The meaning strict access control means, let's put an example where if I am the healthcare provider, I should be having access to all the patient information. Whereas the different healthcare provider, it should not have access to the same patient. So where we define based on what access the healthcare provider should have, what access the member should have. So this is very important to based how it can be tested. So as well as on the other side, so validating eligibility and claims calculations. This is very important for the health from the calculation perspective. How much the patient is having the balance, so that they can what procedures and what services they can use for the further. So in this situation, QA needs to be more risk-based testing and perform end-to-end integrity of the checks of the patients. So in order to achieve this, we need to collaborate with the compliance and engineering team to ensure that every workflow meet the regulations and privacy standards.
Got it. That's a crucial distinction. I mean, compliance definitely elevates the stakes. Speaking of another precision, you've done extensive database testing in using SQL. So could you share some example where deep data validation helped uncover a critical issue?
The reason I say what the important thing is, so while validating the employee salary changes, so since I have been in the payroll industry for so long, so if a practitioner want to change the employee salary with effective dating, some for say example starting from next Monday, so that effective dating starts should be from the next payroll cycle. Until and that you should not give those changes should not be keeping effects. The reason I am giving some little bit example is, so our system works based on the effective dated. So based on this effective dated, the employee should getting this much of amount. Until and that employee should not receive that kind of amount. This is one of the example for the salary changes. The same thing apply for the direct banking changes. So people who will move the banking from one institution to the other institutions. So this is very critical based on the information what we are doing. So let's move. I just stick to the salary changes example. Since while I was validating the employee salary changes across different language preference, because our product support different language preference. When I say different language preference, like a US format English, Canadian format English, Canadian French format. So because all these three has different language preference. So in US we have the month, date and year, whereas in Canada we have date, month and year for the English preference. Whereas we have tricky part is we also support the Canadian French, where we need to support the date logic. In this Canadian French, we have year first, month and date. So this is the various different local that our product need to support. While validating one of the employee salary changes, so I ran the SQL query to see how the salary history tables is storing into the database against the locals. So I discovered that application was writing effective dated incorrectly into the database. So storing the value as a US local. So even for Canadian and French local, this is like this error does not appear on the UI because the system reformats the date on the UI. So, but the database record was incorrect. What I did is I worked with the developer to correct the date phrasing logic local aware and modify the backend date and conversion process so that they could correctly distinguish between US local, Canadian local English, and the French local preference format.
Now let's talk about leadership. You have led QA teams and handled task assignments, coaching, and strategy. So, what's your leadership philosophy when guiding technical talent?
My leadership philosophy is simple basically. So, build clarity, empowering technical teams, and create a culture where quality is everyone's responsibility, guiding the technical talent to focus on clarity. So think rings-based prioritization and ensure the team understand the acceptance criteria, business rule, and regulatory impacts, and understand the quality standards as well as the definition of the done of the sprint cycle. Also, my philosophy is to coach them while doing the collaboration, by encouraging the critical thinking and guiding them the team to discover the solution by its own. So in a nutshell, my philosophy is just as a simple, just to build clarity among the team and encourage them to think critically and discovers there's new solutions.
That's a thoughtful approach. I mean, clearly it reflects your team's outcomes. And this also brings me to collaboration, which is another key area. So, a collaboration across teams is the key, right? So, how do you work with developers and product owners and teams when when priorities don't always match?
I understand the sometime priority difference across the team. So my approach would be bring those differences to realign the team shared goals. What are the objective of our project, the customer value, the business impact? So I try to align them with the one common team goal. So what we have a one team goals. So I just bridge those differences and bring back to realign this team share goal. So let's say for example, so if there is a differences arises, so in the situation if, where there is a time sensitive compliance requirement comes to deliver, so I understood there will be everyone has their own priorities. But in the situation where the time sensitive compliance requirement arises, we need to act fast. So in this situation, what I do is I work closely with the product owner, developer, and integration team to fully understand the regulatory requirement and the business impact that comes to fulfill these time sensitive compliance requirements. So for that we need to work together. So I build the clear steps and bring the team to understand the requirement and adapt their priorities to work together towards unified outcome.
That's really practical, and that kind of mindset can really diffuse a lot of friction. But at the same time, let's talk about another high pressure area, that is defect management can get messy. So, what's your approach on logging, tracking, and driving high quality releases under deadlines, like really tight deadlines?
My approach would be to keep the defect tracking process structure, transparent, and risk driven. So my approach on this would be to set clear standard. For the first step I would do is to set the clear standard for the defect logging. What that means is to put the steps properly to reproduce the issue, put as much as detail as possible for the developer to understand it. The second step in this process I do is proper characterization of the defect. What it means it so properly define what severity, what purity it is. So
Mm.
that's the most important thing while we characterizing the defect. And the third steps in the defect process management is to put a daily triage meeting where we discuss the any dependency of the defect what you have created, as is any blocker in your testing. So this is one of the critical steps also in the defect logging management process. Other step what I will do is communication release risks. So in these steps we communicate to the whole team that what defects must need to be fixed, what defects that can be deferred for the different releases. So this is also one of the important steps that need to be followed. And finally, I introduce strong exit criteria. What it means is, unless you fix the high priority issue, the release cannot be done.
Now let's head on to the future with the automation and AI growing in testing, as we were just talking about. So, how do you see the role of QA engineers evolving in the next 5 years?
As you know, the automation AI is continues to grow. So I see the QA roles evolving in the upcoming years from the traditional tester into the quality strategic and AI augmented engineers, so that the future QA assisted with the AI will help to build smarter, safer, and more reliable software system. The QA role moving into more cross-functional hybrid role, such as blending, automation, AI-driven insight. So this, in order to achieve all upcoming roles, the QA must need to learn how to verify the AI generated results, how to integrate AI into the continuous integration and continuous development pipeline as a part of the agile development methodology, and that transform the QA positions into the quality specialist.
Completely agree to that. I mean, the landscape is shifting fast, and this is a new opportunity for people who are starting out. So, for young professionals entering QA today, what core skills should they focus on to grow into something which is future ready QA leaders?
I would say for the young professional who want to enter into the QA field, the first I will always recommend them to build a strong testing principles. So you should to have a strong foundation on the testing principles like exploratory testing, test design technique, understanding the whole system workflow, the defect management process, clear communication. And the second thing what I recommended the person who want to enter into this QA role is develop technical skills such as automation concepts, API testing, SQL backend validation, cloud testing, as well as if you want to develop the understanding of the DevOps. DevOps is as a game changer for the new QA because it need to understand from the release perspective. As you know, the most of the industries are going for the agile methodology. You need to do all from the beginning, from the testing perspective, from the automation perspective, how you do the automations, as well as to how you deploy those changes so that you will be a game changer if you understand the DevOps techniques. And finally, the future QA I see is heavily rely on AI. So that means you have to understand how AI tool works, how the AI tools integrated into your workflow system, how AI can integrate into your technologies.
Fantastic advice and a great note to end on. Thank you so much, Imtiaz, for sharing your journey and expertise with Tech Funding News today. Your insights on QA, leadership, automation, and collaboration strategy and habit strategy and the future of testings are really interesting and very useful and helpful for founders, builders, and tech teams navigating in this fast changing AI QA product environments. And this has to be another great episode of Tech Talks with TFN. And to our readers, if you enjoyed this conversation, make sure you follow us for more deep dives and technical interviews like this one, which are shaping the future of technologies. And this is Akansha Timri, the editor and founder of Tech Funding News, signing off until next time. Thank you.